Welcome. I'm Harmony Slater, your host of the Finding Harmony podcast. Over the past 20 years, I've taught thousands of yoga teachers and students to explore the intersection between ancient wisdom and modern everyday life, using mind-body practices to heal, awaken, and manifest their dreams from the inside out. This podcast is a sanctuary for those feeling overwhelmed by life's challenges. Are you ready to jump in and discover how these challenges aren't actually in the way, but are the way to finding harmony? Let's invite the magic back in. So today we're looking at something that we don't normally pause to look at, and that is exploring that the energy around us can affect us just as much as the energy within us. What do you think about that? Have you ever considered that perhaps the reason why you're feeling stuck or scattered or stagnant isn't because of something about you that's going on the inside, but it actually has more to do with the energy of the space or spaces that you're inhabiting every day? The design of your home or the furniture inside your home or the way you're sitting inside the home itself, the direction you're facing. Today's guest invites us to consider that our homes and our workspaces may play a much bigger role in our internal well-being than we realize. So we are joined by Margaret Solorio, who is an energy healer, medium, author, and the creator of the Home Frequency Reset. And she comes to this work from a very unconventional background. She worked in the field of biotechnology for over 20 years in the wine industry. And it was with the upheaval of COVID that she had a profound awakening of personal transformation and discovered this calling that extended beyond working with just individuals, but reached all the way into the spaces that they inhabit. And so today, she really helps people clear and reset the energy of their homes, creating environments that feel more calm and supportive and aligned with the lives that they're longing to create. So I hope that this gives you some food for thought if you're doing a little summer cleaning or reorganization of your home. I hope that this episode is supportive and finding you at exactly the right time and gives you the insight and inspiration you need to make some changes in your own environment to help your energy and creativity flow in new and wonderful ways. So let's find out how as we jump into this conversation. Hi, welcome to the Finding Harmony podcast.
This is your host, Harmony Slater, and this is your co-host, Mr. Harmony Slater. Nice to meet you. Do you go by K or do you go by Margaret?
Margaret.
Actually, both. Yes, Margaret.
Margaret. Ms. Solorio.
Solorio's last name, yes.
That's fantastic. For the listeners on radio, and when we started the podcast, it was always like, we're going to push the radio part. We don't want any video. We want people to, we don't want people to talk with their hands, But really, this is really ideal for YouTube because your space is phenomenal.
Oh, thank you so much.
And you're here to talk about how to make a phenomenal space. I think, and with some kind of energetic cleansing piece to that.
That's what I do. I clear and reset the energy in homes. So I often work remotely. I don't actually see people's spaces, but it's really about how that space makes you feel and about caring how you feel, because those emotions are energy in motion. So connecting with the energy of your space.
Oh, so how does that work?
Well, I'm sure you talk about this too. We all are energy, and everything is energy. If you get down to the molecules of it all, those atoms are buzzing with energy. And so everything gives off a bit of an energetic residue, kind of like with the physical dust collects over time just by being. Energetic dust, so to speak, collects, especially in the corners of spaces, just by living, but also experiences. So often I get called in if there's some big transition, whether you're welcoming in a new family member or having a baby, or if there's been the opposite, a divorce or a split, there's been a big, that kind of transition, or you're just moving into a new space. The home wasn't yours before and now you're making it yours. So you want to clear out that energy from the people who were there before. Right. Those kind of big changes is where I come in, but I think we can all feel it. One of my favorite, I like to give extreme examples because I think we can all easily catch on and relate to that. But if you think of a house that hasn't been lived in a while and you were to walk in it, it really has that damp, heavy energy. Kind of, you want to open the windows, you want to let the air in. Or also if somebody's had an argument in a space and you were not there for the argument and then you walked into the space and it's quite apparent, you pick up on that energetic residue. You know something's happened. There's kind of this lingering energy. And so that can build up over time, and we want to clear that out to allow for all the good things we want, opportunity and abundance to fill in that space.
I had a friend once who put up a mezuzah. I think it was like she put a mezuzah up on her dorm room, actually. And I asked her, but like, you're putting a mezuzah up, what are you doing that for? She said, well, because objects have energy. And it was like maybe the first time I'd ever really thought about it that way, that, that these things do have a residue, and you pick something up and you can feel something about them. And sometimes you don't have a feeling, but often you do.
No, you're right. Some people are more intuitively inclined and might pick up on that. But I think it's also important to recognize the emotional or the energetic attachment we have to our stuff. So I once worked with a client who had inherited a coffee table that she tripped over regularly because she didn't want to give it away. She felt badly about that, but it didn't really fit in her space. And so there was this kind of stuck energy where she hadn't come to terms and made peace with it and let it go. It was still there. So thinking about whether positive or maybe heavier and a little more negative, that energetic tie you have to your own things. I always think about naming too. Some of us like to name our cars. Some people like to name their houses and talk to their houses. So thinking of that positive association of you can talk to the energy, whether it's flowing through your body, which I know you work with somatics, or flowing through your home. It's there.
Yeah.
People often name their swords.
Their swords, Excalibur.
You seem to have a kind of a turquoise tone that's flavored every object in the room there. Almost as if there was a turquoise veil drawn over your video.
It's my favorite color.
Let me ask you, would you say that you were always sort of connected to this sense that objects have power and personality? Or would you say that there was a turning point for you?
I think I always did. I didn't have the language to describe it or the awareness that it mattered, that it was a thing. We moved around a lot as a family when I was a kid. So there was always a new space. There was always looking at new spaces. There was always that limited amount of time to kind of make your own decision about something. Whether my parents cared about my opinion of it was a different matter, but I could always sense, oh wait, no, oh yeah, like I always had that feeling. Or when I moved into a new room, it mattered to me which way my furniture was facing. I would move it if it hadn't ended up quite where I felt calm enough to sleep or whatever it was. So I always had that sense of things, but there was nobody talking about it or that it mattered. With all the moves, there was this idea of like fresh start. So I learned a lot about like, oh, your external world has an impact on you. Look, we're going to change our environment. We're going to change this. It's going to bring this. But I didn't have that language. I think for me, it changed with COVID. My whole world kind of turned on its side. And so that's when I really started down personal development and learned that it wasn't just those external factors, but the change within us that the external reflects. So that's when I headed down that path and meditation, which led me to Reiki and to the spaces.
Was there something very profound that happened for you in COVID that did this? Or was it just the circumstances for all of us were a lot for you?
Yeah.
We were locked in our homes.
Right.
I didn't notice any difference myself.
Well, then you did.
Just always at home.
You're always locked in your home.
I just was managing. I was fighting my life, like on paper it looked really good, but it didn't feel good. at any point. I was putting all this pressure on myself and racing against time every day. And I felt like a horizontal marathon that got flipped vertically, and I just couldn't keep up. So managing all the different parts of my life and prioritizing things that didn't necessarily make sense, that there was no room to hide in the schedule when COVID was like, great, do all these things all at the same time, go. All in the same space. The space has to manage all the things you do and handle that. So when I stopped resisting and I thought, okay, well, I can't change everything on the outside. I can't go anywhere. What can I change about myself and my approach, or how can I learn to love the life I lead? That kind of feeling. That's where the shift started for me.
Yeah. Do you find like that color tones affect people? Have you noticed that? Or like, how do you work with shifting the energy in the space remotely without even like seeing the space?
Yeah, I see a lot in my mind's eye when I tune in. So when I do a clearing, I get an intention, I get a blueprint. It's often a hand sketch of the space with each room labeled with one word, and I go room by room. So when I tune in intuitively, I work with angels, the archangels. They give me kind of divine downloads for each space. There's often a little clue or a little suggestion, like, oh, this space has this or needs to be balanced with this. And so I write down all of that and I provide a report at the end. So those are usually the hints. Color, definitely. Each color has different frequency. One thing I love is that it's all unique. What makes somebody calm and happy color is definitely different for the other person. So there's no rule about what's better, what's calmer. It's what works for you. But clearing the energy and then finding what creates that supportive space, that's really fun.
Harmony, you've kind of suffered my presence in your home now for about 10 years, and I've really kind of taken the lead in the design of the decor in the house. What is that like for you? Like, are you comfortable in the house? Do you like the way it looks? And
most of the time.
Most of the time, but like things are kind of stay in the place most of the time. Can you? What is that like for you?
Yeah, I like our house. Sometimes I feel like it's a bit crowded.
We could,
Yeah, how do you negotiate that? Like when you're sharing space with other people, like our child has his bass here, 4 amps,
full double bass,
like another bass. We used to have a piano in this room, which we relocated to a storage area. Like, how do you negotiate space when you're not the only person in control of it?
Yeah, I think, finding what's most important to each of you to try to negotiate that. Obviously, it's not going to be perfectly for just you because you are sharing. That's important. I'm trying to think. What often comes up is designating a space for each activity, but it sounds like you've kind of done that. Like this is your sound space, whether it's music or podcasting, or there's a very creative vibe and you've designated that space for that. So that intention, the energetics of intention brings a lot to supporting a space.
That's interesting. I've never thought of this as a sound space.
Well, I like to do mushrooms in the living room upstairs. I've made that room the place where we like to do that.
That's our salon.
I'm just, it's interesting because I was forced to live with my brother growing up, and what I was kind of used to was kind of like wading through knee-high garbage as I went through my room. And something really very interesting happened when we both got a room one year. My room became immaculately clean just overnight. And I kind of realized, like, I didn't even know I was that way until the room became perfectly clean and nice and everything was exactly the way I wanted it, just immediately. And I kind of went on the rest of my life that way. And so, I mean, I hope I haven't, like, forced myself on you with this, but I just think that there is, like,
your cleanliness.
But the artful way you place something in space. I guess my question is, and I want you to kind of maybe help elaborate, is the kind of the personality that arises and that needs your space to look a particular way, and then its effect on other people. Like, do you have a partner there in the home? You mentioned maybe children.
I do, a husband and 2 children.
And then how do you bend them to your will?
Well, I don't, but they generally by default seem to follow my leadership. So I suppose that
exactly.
works.
Yeah.
I think it's bringing awareness to that sense of exactly what you spoke about. I mean, we grew up with a lot of stuff, my sister and I, and we had very different reactions coming out of that space. I, too, am somebody who regularly goes through. I mean, my kids are not happy with me. They're, poor things, are 9 and 11. They bring home a bunch of paperwork from school. I'll sit down and I'll look at it with them, and I'll pick 2 or 3 original pieces, put them aside to hang them up somewhere, and the rest goes straight in the recycling. And they're like, I spent months working on that. I'm like, yeah, and you're only in 3rd grade. There'll be so much more. So, like, I'm okay I'm not one of those moms who holds on to every single, forgive me if you are, but everybody to their own, piece of artwork, and then has boxes full for them to pick up when they become an adult. Yeah. I think bringing awareness to how you react, what emotional tie you have to those things, and also a lot of this work has to do with the kind of subtle, almost subconscious reactions we have. So if you're not even aware, then that's hard to work with. So bringing that in awareness. A lot of it, every time I do a session, nature, light, and air come up. So thinking about your lighting, a lot of us live in inherited spaces. We didn't actually build the homes we live in. So they come with lighting that maybe isn't ideal for you. So maybe you are installing lamps or thinking about lower lighting for the evenings, or how can you dress the windows differently to serve your purposes and joy. And then with air, for me, that's opening up the windows every day. Even if it's cold, the fresh air flowing through really refreshes everything. If you can't do that, maybe spraying an essential oil spray. Again, thinking about how you can change the frequency to lift you up instead of feel like it's kind of hanging. And then nature, I find fun to focus on your favorite sense. So I enjoy my sense of sight the most. So I have plants. I have a lot of nature prints around. You can see there's even a whale on the piano. Yeah. There's lots of that reflected back to me. If you're a sound person, you might softly play nature sounds in the background, where it's not something you pick up on right away, but there's this like refreshing sense. Yeah. We do a lot of that naturally, I think, when we host. When we invite guests over to our home, we think about that mood, that vibe, the energy. They're coming in. What do they want to feel like when they enter my home? Where will they eat? Where will they sit? What will the music be? What's important for, we curate that experience. And sometimes it's easy to forget or tolerate less for ourselves and think, oh no, this is supposed to be our sanctuary, our place to rest and reset and be safely ourselves, create whatever it is. So that too can be curated.
Yeah. Is there a difference between like Reiki for the person and Reiki for the space?
Really good question. In my experience, not so much. It was funny. I learned Reiki for the person. I learned angel Reiki, so it was a combination of this mediumship and Reiki. And then I kept getting signs from the universe, is the best way to put it, I guess, about spaces. And then I would just speak to my spirit guides and say, hey, I get it. I love spaces. What's the deal? And I sat down one day and kind of got a download of how can I apply what I've learned to spaces. So when I clear the spaces, I actually see the 7 main chakras, the energy systems, lined up with rooms in the house. And that's kind of a symbolic connection for me of, if this is the crown of the house, that's easier access to spirit in that space. That's how this energy is flowing through the house, gives me clues.
Oh, that's so fascinating. Okay, what makes like the crown of a house? Like what would make that the space?
Always different. I have yet to have a pattern replicate itself.
Wow. So like, does it just come to you, or is it from like something that somebody says?
No, when I'm going through and clearing the space, I'll either see them in color or hear the word.
Interesting. I feel like the crown of our house is our salon.
I was going to say our kitchen.
Ooh.
Because that's where we do all of our interactions.
I think the kitchen's more like the throat, because it's like the communication area.
Okay.
Is it kind of like aligned that way, or is it different?
It's different. And I always laugh when the root is not at the root. Like when the root ends up in like a basement, it makes sense. Yeah. But when the root's on the top floor, you're like, well, wait a second. And then I look at how they're all pieced together.
And you haven't really been able to like correlate like what makes a root area, or is there like Is it like a vibe, an energy, a color? Like, what would you look for?
Well, I don't actually physically see the spaces. I just work with a blueprint and then what I see in my mind's eye. So I see the color as an association, as kind of like a reference point for me. In terms of the space, I think because each home is so different, each owner and family is so different, each position of the house is, there are so many different factors, but it always makes sense when I deliver the information back to the person of the house. They always correlate, oh, right, that's what we do in this space, or oh, that's what there's always a correlation.
Can I just go back for one moment and ask, how did you acquire angel spirit guides?
Oh, we all have them. It's just getting used to hearing. Kind of like you learn to hear your intuition. For me, meditation is the flip side of praying. So if you, when you pray and you ask and you say thank you, when you meditate, you get quiet and you listen and you receive those answers on a kind of general basis. And we each have 1 to 3 spirit guides. And a spirit guide for me is that spiritual team member, you can call it, who's with you from the time you're born till the time you go back home, so to speak. And then we all have angels everywhere around us. So one thing I love is learning that when you do pray, it doesn't really matter who you pray to. They get the message and somebody comes.
Did you have a format that was presented to you as a kind of lineage, like this is how things work, and like a grandmother who said these are the angels that are around you, they come in 1 to 3, or was it something that kind of arose to you in a kind of vision, or something you were just always aware of?
Well, none of the above. I would say it's a lot of study, and I just started I did my certification program in Angel Reiki, and my mentor through that program, she taught me a lot about what she knew of how the spirit world is somewhat organized from our perspective, but then it's just fascination and curiosity. Once that is validated, whether it was doing a session with a person and visually seeing it in my mind's eye, or having a question answered by an angel leaving a feather for me where there's never been a feather before, and getting those like visceral validations. When you get to the point where you believe so much, like you see it and you can't deny it, then I'm like, okay, well, I just want to understand. And I've gone back, you can read books from mediums in the past, or every time I read a different kind of spiritual angle book, there's always some nugget, and it's like putting the pieces together and kind of understanding that.
That's amazing. Is there a way, like, to, like, you sound like a very visual person, so like you're seeing a lot of images in your mind. Has it always been that way, or that case for you? And is there other ways that you connect? Like, I know lots of people like channel through like writing, free writing, or like, how do you really find that connection?
It's kind of like meditation is a muscle, that meditation is the tool to get you to oneness, or get you to connection, or whatever word you want to use for that state, feeling, beingness of being very present. So I was actually really angry when I learned meditation is the tool, because I loved meditation so much at that point, but it's not the point. The point is that feeling of connection. So once you practice regularly, you can drop into it anywhere you are, whenever you take a moment and collect yourself. You don't have to sit in a certain position, listen to a certain thing. Again, that's the tool. So it's kind of the same with the spiritual and connecting to the other side. Once you learn to open yourself up as a channel to receive messages, it's just a muscle of strengthening it. If you've heard of the clairs, those are the 5 different ways you can receive information. So you can see and hear and feel. So there are lots of different ways. But you're right, we all have different tools for connecting. I love to write. So often for me personally, that's when it happens, when I journal in the evenings. I can ask a question and write without my ego jumping in and prompting, why are you thinking that? Then it all gets down on the paper, and then I go back and read and go, aha, thank you. I know where my next move is.
Yeah. I think that's like a really good tool that is can help people kind of open up that channel to have messages.
It's learning.
come
And
through.
for me, I thought it was fun too. That's an energetic weight too. When you learn to discern between your intuition and your ego, the egoic thoughts, I'm going to say physically, and that's not the right word, but they feel heavier than the intuitive thoughts. They come across much lighter and kind of airy.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned in your notes your process of writing, and I wonder if you could go into that. It sounds like something I've suggested to Harmony, because a couple of times we've had this opportunity for her to write a book, and I've tried to encourage her to write, and I feel like maybe you're an all or nothing kind of gal. Like, you want to spend 18 hours a day doing it until it's done. But you did it in a kind of very different way. You did 15 minutes a day until the book was done, which is interesting. That's something I kind of recommended to Harm to do. Could you talk more about that? I do. I segment my time out that way.
It just relieved the pressure for me, and it retaught. This is when I was really also learning about flipping my relationship with time. And that kind of goes back to the energetics too, that cosmic order you put out and the knowingness that anything is possible. I think we so easily put constraints on our time. And I think that comes from conditioning, from being in school or having a job where your value is your time, your butt's in the chair, and not really what you've produced. Right? So then we take that and we think, oh, okay, to write a book, I need to go to Bali for a month and not talk to anybody and spend 18 hours writing, and then I'll have this awesome thing draft at the end. And I just didn't, again, during COVID and a family to take care of, there was not a thing. So like, great, well, what can I do? After dinner, I can set a timer for 15 minutes, ignore everybody else, and just see what happens. I'll just start writing. I'm not going to try to, build an outline. And I had a loose outline I kept in my back pocket for years because I had wanted to do it. But I just started writing. And yeah, it took 6 weeks for the first draft. It was way faster than I thought it would be. It was great.
What I'm noticing is, like, I feel like you both have a lot in common, because he's also very visually oriented. And I feel like there's something about, like, your connection with creative energy and, like, how it flows. Like, some people, I think, are just more... I'm not saying I'm not connected, but...
With all your work, you're definitely connected.
But I think, like, I really, like, I somatically connect more. Like, I feel it in my body a lot.
Is that
or,
when
like,
you know when it's right to do the next thing?
Yeah.
You're like, oh,
or I just know.
That. I know I feel like doing that.
Exactly. Yeah, and it's not even, like, so much, like, people say, I don't feel like doing that. But, like, it's almost like a knowing... like, so clearly that it moves me in that way, if that makes sense.
That's how we got married.
Yeah.
That one.
Yeah. It's just like, it just is like that. Go there. It's just like, so it's
and
like,
you've come to trust it.
Yeah. Yeah. And so it's like kind of like a different way of, I feel like there's maybe something to that, like the way you have
kind
like
of the same, and it's just a different process. Like you said, that we all receive downloads of information differently. That creative process maybe also looks different, but creativity itself, I feel like, is a download. A lot of us, when we create, you feel like it's coming through you. You don't necessarily feel like you're actively putting it all together. So that too is just opening yourself and allowing. And so you're saying yes to that feeling, where we might say yes to trusting the process. Like, I knew I had this to give, so I would show up. I didn't know what would come of it, but I knew saying yes was a step towards, if I was writing, I was a writer. That took a lot of the shame and stuff off. I was like, I can say that every day. So I'm going to show up and I'm going to do that every day, and we'll see what comes of it, and I'll make something more. So it was kind of trusting that process of, if I show up.
That's so beautiful.
There's a great quote about the creative process, which is on inspiration. Like, when inspiration finds me, I hope it finds me working. So I set aside, 3 p.m., 4 p.m. If I'm going to do any, that's when I have to get some painting done, because we have all this whole morass and maelstrom of other activities to do. If I'm going to do any writing, I'm going to do it at 8 or 9 a.m. because that's time I have to do that. And so when I sit down to do it, I have some pieces that I want to work with. And then as I work on them, inspiration and creativity come.
But I think that's that's such a good message, because a lot of, like, women that I coach often, like, have dreams and things they want to do, like write a book or they want to exercise or like, all kinds of things that they want to to do. And I think we underestimate how much you can get done or accomplish, or how much can change if you just devote 15 or 20 minutes every day to something.
A focused energy. I used to preach that multitasking was way overrated, and single tasking really gets the job done, because I mean, in this day and age, attention is really the currency of it all. But when you give your focused attention, if you think about it, anyone who loves you, what do they really want? They want your focused attention. That's the power. Yeah. That's the movement of energy. That's that connection. So if you can give your focused attention to one activity for 5, 10, 15 minutes, it can be really powerful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And we were talking to Jamie Butler, who is also like a trance channeler, and she was saying that also, that we, like, if you want to connect, you have to like kind of slow down, figure out how you receive intuition, and monotask, because that allows you to be present and focused in the moment. And so just to like reiterate, that's also kind of what you're saying here too, is like just be present.
Well,
stay
you have
focused.
to give yourself permission, because I think we get this false advertisement that if we do 15 things at the same time, we're actually doing 15 things at the same time. You're not actually doing 15 things at the same time. You're doing one for 30 seconds and then the next one for you're giving this fragmented energy and attention to, you're trying to move this, all these 15 balls up the proverbial hill at the same time, when if you focus, it also puts that constraint of, it's going to take me this much time to get it done. And we forget that if we just go ahead and do it, what is it, that expression, that fear is a mile wide and an inch deep? We worry so much about how long it'll take, when in actuality, if we just started, we'd surprise ourselves. Or in my energy work, the idea is that having that home that supports you lifts your vibration. And if you're starting walking out of the house or starting an activity with a higher vibration and feeling connected and feeling good, things flow so much more easily.
Yeah. What are some of the ways, like, that if people are feeling kind of stagnant and stuck and maybe not realizing that it's their home, like, what are some things that we could notice, and then how could we change it?
I think noticing it has to do with all the things we just talked about, getting a little more in tune with yourself and your feelings, and just bringing that awareness. So if you have a drawer in the kitchen that sticks, and every day you use it, you tolerate it, you get a little frustrated, and you move on. Well, could you give that 10 to 15 minutes attention so it doesn't stick anymore? And then every time you use it, you go, waha, this is great. And you get that uplift, that energetic uplift. Or for me, the things that really mattered or helped were bowls, like our kitchen bowls that you use for cereal and soup. When I grew up, we learned that you use something until you can't. End of story. So they were chipped and they were mismatched, and it was just sad. And I was sad using them, and I was sad cleaning them, and I was set the table and give everybody else the nicer ones and give myself. And then I was more sad, and it just was such a downer. And they're just bowls, but you use them every day. And so I finally got over myself, chucked them, and went out, and I think I spent $20 on 4 new bowls. It was so easy. And because it's COVID, you just drive and they bring it to your car. It doesn't take that much effort. And then now it's been years and I still get excited to use them. So it's that little...
I think she and I were separated at birth. I think that's what's going on here. Where are you from?
Where am I from?
Are you Swedish?
There is some Scandinavian in there. From the East Coast. We moved around a lot, up and down the East Coast.
Okay, but up and down the East Coast.
Yeah,
you're not from Detroit, though.
No, I've never been there.
It's the Scandinavian. It's the Swedish. The Swedish are really sensitive to energy and in spaces, actually.
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
Is that what the IKEA
Yeah, when we
model
went
is?
to Sweden, we were always just like, wow, this space is beautiful. This space is beautiful. It's like in the DNA, I think.
We should take the computer into the Higgy space, because I came back and I said, you know what? Fuck this office you've been working in for like years in this fucking cave space.
I asked for it.
I did it all while you were away as a surprise.
But I asked for you to change it.
I turned that space into the living embodiment of Higgy because I just had enough.
She was there yesterday in the Higgy space.
You saw it.
We did a
You
podcast
saw the
spot.
space.
Mm-hmm. Yes, with the
that's
rainbow
right.
books.
Rainbow books and pink and soft upholstery.
Okay, so towels too, like
For
the
me, it
mismatched
was-
rundown towels.
Exactly. Another thing you just tolerate. You don't get, and then you buy, I found a company I believed in and some fun colors and really soft that felt good. You wrap your little kits in those. There are all these little moments where you're like, this is great. It just is so uplifting. Or picking your favorite cup in the cupboard, like the nice one that you don't save for somebody else, you save for yourself. Like switching that narrative, those little energetic uplifts, I call them positive energetic anchors in your day, are very helpful.
We have 35 towels we never use because we only use the nice ones. Why do we keep them? Get them out.
For the dogs.
Oh.
But I think that's like a thing too, right? Like the clutter, like the stuff that we hang on to that maybe we're not using or we're just hanging on for sentimental reasons, or even like, what about like the past? Like you were saying, like, I mean, we have like boxes and boxes of things.
Lego.
From the past. Also, like journals and photos and artwork.
Lego.
Well, I think it's just the most important for me in that process is, one, to give yourself grace. It can be really so easy to get overwhelmed and then you just quit because, good Lord, that's a lot. And two, to understand that each little step counts and each little step helps. So you don't have to do a big overhaul. You don't have to change everything today. It's what are those little investments of time? Maybe you set a timer for 5 minutes and just tidy up the space you're in. You can get a lot done and you'll feel really better and the energy will flow through more easily. So, but you don't get lost in the cleaning project that takes hours. So where can you do those little investments that bring you lots of good reward?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm feeling like we need to get rid of a lot of stuff.
We talked about the child already. Can you talk about, so you spent 15 minutes a day for 6 weeks, and is Make Ease Your Vibe?
Yes.
That's the book you wrote.
Yes.
Can you talk to us about what's going to happen when we encounter this book? Are we going to go through chapter by chapter, and do we use it as a manual, or is it a description of your experience?
It's a little bit of both. So that's from the first 3 years of personal development work that I did. And I learned all these little, what felt like kind of like life hacks in 3 sections. So first I had to change my mindset in that I had a lot of negative self-talk. So where were those mindset shifts that could be made? Then I learned about energy, how energy works in the world. You don't really see energy, so it's not something we're really taught about, but we all experience it and we all feel it. So once I started making those connections of, I am my own energetic magnet, and that vibe that I put out, that's reflected back to me in my space, in the world, by other people. Like, I don't have to then take comments personally when somebody says something to me. I can understand there's like a blip in my vibe. Like, what am I believing? That resonates. That's coming to me. It gave me this great new perspective. So I talk mindset shifts, energy, and then time. For me, there was this my relationship with time changed everything. I used to feel like I put on armor every morning and was racing against time because I felt like I had to hold up the world and do so many things. And when I understood that's a cosmic order, like we can say, I don't have enough time. And then the loving universe goes, wonderful, let me bring you all these things to slow you down. Or you can say, I have more than enough time. I have time to get everything done. No problem. And just having that attitude, having that energy, putting out that vibe, that's what's reflected back to you. And things, for me, it never feels faster. I'm always a little amazed by that. Like, it doesn't feel like I get it done faster, but I arrive at my result, or, so to speak, destination early. Or I get the book done early, or I get this done. And then I'm like, what? That's amazing. I have 2 hours left to do something else. Like, it doesn't feel faster for me, but it always flows more easily. And that's that ease. My wish for everyone is that ease is not something we just get on vacation, but that we figure out a way, and there are so many different ways, to just bring it into the everyday and savor.
I have to say that when I was growing up, everyone would say to me, like, parents and uncles and stuff, like, it goes so quick. And it's really not my experience. Like, this is really taking a long time. I feel like it's a way of life, though. Like, if just like, I really feel like this lady's my sister. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I feel like it's relative, because it was really cute. My third grader said to me, the school, tomorrow's the tomorrow's the last day of school. And he said, you know what? This is the year that went by the fastest. And I was like, yeah, well, it kind of feels like that. The older you get, the less percentage of your life 1 year is. And then is like, oh, right. Here we are again.
Yeah, it does. It speeds up as you age, I guess. My parents always said that.
Again, not my experience, but okay.
Maybe you're slowing down as you age.
Just takes every day takes forever.
That means you don't have enough to do. I have some projects.
I have so many things I'm working on.
We have some cleaning out we can do.
We could get rid of these 2 dogs.
I can take up that time for you.
That would
free
free up an hour and a half. We just got rid of the dogs.
Oh my gosh. Well, tell everyone if they want to have you work on their home or on their person, how do they connect with you and receive a session?
Yeah, go to my website. It's deliciousease.com.
Okay, beautiful. And they can order your book from your website or
it's on Amazon in paperback and Kindle versions.
Perfect. What would you like to leave people with if they're, I don't know, listening to this and feeling like, I don't know, congested energetically?
What comes to mind is kindness as a practice. I think it's those little moments that you can give yourself grace or give yourself a compliment or give somebody else a compliment and just say, hey, you're doing a good job today. Were those little moments where you can make your own positive, energetic anchors in life and practice kindness, because it always comes back to you multiple fold.
It's helpful.
Lovely.
Especially with yourself.
Yeah.
Especially when you're trying to clean out spaces, I think.
Yes.
It's very emotional. It can be, can it?
It's very emotional, and it's okay to take that break to drink some water and integrate or process or however you want to think about that, to let go. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I noticed that when I was going through clothes a couple of years ago. I hadn't done it for a long time, and then I was getting rid of a lot of things. And I was like crying sometimes, like, this is so emotional.
Yeah.
So,
well, and you can't call it for anyone else. We all have our different attachments to things and have that energetic tie. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and I didn't even think that I was like energetically connected to clothing at all. So
yeah, I feel that way when I hear about people with their hair. You know, they get the hair cut and they worry so much. I'm like, it grows back. I don't get it. But some people, it's so much part of your identity. And like you said, you don't quite realize it till it's not there.
Yeah. Or like it's attached to also memories. And I was like, memories. That's interesting. Like how we don't really associate clothing with memories. We think of like photos or music. But yeah, it's really interesting. A lot to clear the emotional field.
Well, it's like what you said on my podcast yesterday. It's always an evolution, right? Once you open that, what did you call it? Pandora's box. That it's not it's a never-ending box. In a good way, though, right? The point here is the process, the journey.
Yeah, exactly. Beautiful. Well, thank you so much for coming on the Finding Harmony podcast today. And we'll put all your links in the show notes. And it's been such a pleasure to connect with you.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you, Kay.
So before you go, I want to just emphasize something that I really believe, and that is that healing isn't about becoming someone different or someone new. It's really about remembering who you truly are, who you were before fear or heartbreak or conditioning changed your personality and created a pattern that you're living out of. Before life's inevitable challenges taught you to abandon parts of yourself. One of my teachers always says that life is a trauma-based learning school. And I believe that is true. We come here with our own curriculum. It is unique to us. And the journey of our life is about returning home so that we can then go out and help support and heal the world and each other. And over the last several years, I have been using tools and practices, as you may have been with me on this journey through energy healing and work and spinal energetics and genius frequency work, embodiment, somatic coaching, meditation, breath work, learning to listen to the intelligence of the body, learning to interpret the signs, the messages, the stories, the images, contemplative inquiry, and altered states of consciousness. And what I've witnessed in both my own life and in the lives of others who I work with and support through these practices and help through their integration process using these tools is that true healing happens. And with the right support and genuine readiness, transformation can occur more quickly than we can ever imagine. It doesn't have to be long and arduous and hard. Life is a healing journey for sure. And like the snake, we're shedding layers of ourselves, layers that we put on as part of the journey for protection. But then as we go through the journey, we get to take these layers off. And that's why I'm so excited about this retreat in early November. There's only a few spots left. It's a small, intimate group. And if you would like to be a part of this group, then please send me a message on Instagram at Harmony Slater Official. We are doing deep work, and it's designed not just for another thing, another practice, another tool for you to use. It's not a collection of tools on your tool belt, but it is a true experience of transformation and integration. And so this isn't just for inspiration. It's not just to motivate you on your journey with tools you already have and know. It is really about creating lasting change. So if your heart is pulling you in this direction, then I would love for you to reach out and let me know, and we can get into a conversation if this is the right fit for you. And until next time, please take good care of yourself. You deserve the same love, the same attention, and the same care. You deserve to give it to yourself as much as you are giving to others. And I know that you are, because you're here listening to this podcast. That's it. We've concluded another episode of the Finding Harmony podcast. I just want to thank you so much for doing the work that changes the world, starting with yourself. It truly does make a huge difference. Please make sure you have your automatic downloads turned on wherever you listen so you don't miss any of the upcoming episodes. I have so much more magic I can't wait to share with you. Lastly, if you're on Instagram, I love connecting and hearing from you. So come on over and say hello at Finding Harmony Podcast. And you can also come say hello to me personally at Harmony Slater Official. Thank you again for being here. I cannot wait to share more with you in our next episode.